to Carman Dad and my long-term test review of the BMW M2 Competition. What I really want to cover in this video is, can you live with this car on a daily basis? I've owned the car for 6 months now. It is used as my daily workhorse. This is a 2019 Long Beach Blue BMW M2 Competition. A DCT box, speed limit display, Apple CarPlay, Harman Kardon sound, electric adjustable seats with driver memory, icon adaptive headlights, front and reverse sensors, a sunroof, the M Sport braking system, which, common misconception, people think they are carbon ceramic. They're not, they are just bigger. So they are 6-part at the front, 4-part at the back, rather than 4 and 2. Sort of counter argument for that in that it's heavier rotating mass. I happen to think that they sort of more than make up for that. Aftermarket wise, I went to Royal Steering Wheels, got myself an Alcantara wheel, and I have got a set of replica alloys, look identical to the standard that it comes with, albeit that I run winter tyres. So let's talk to you about the negatives. Can't spec a heads-up display on the M2 Competition, which I think is a shame. Having been in the M4, M3, you know, you can put a heads-up in any of those cars. You can now get a heads-up display in the new 1 Series, the M135i, and so I think it's a shame you can't put that in the M2. You can opt to have your speed as a digital number on the middle of the dash, and it's easily readable, but you do still have to look down. Main criticism I have of this car, especially as a daily driver, is the fuel tank size. So the car takes 50 litres of your finest premium brand petrol, whatever your flavour is. This car, even if driven very sensibly on my morning commute, which will take about 25 minutes give or take, consists of 30 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour, 70, back down to 50, back down to 30, 25 mile per gallon. So any other car, my 6 Series used to do nearly 50 for the exact same journey in the exact same manner. Range wise, I have seen 350 miles out of a tank on a long motorway journey. I've seen well under 200 and very regularly get about 230, 240 miles out of a tank. You just need to be aware of it. I mean, that's not what you buy an M car for, is it? But real world, day to day, and I think that could be massively solved by BMW up to about 300 miles a tank, which I think is far more reasonable, by putting a 65 litre tank in the car, just something that would lend itself a little bit more to a car that you can do some serious hard mileage in for a good period of time. Otherwise, I don't have many real criticisms of the car. The boot space is really good, really ample. It's a coupe, but the seats fold down. It'll take most things that you try and get into it on a day-to-day basis. Right, let's talk about the positives, because that is a far bigger, far better list. Miles of smiles. No sooner I drove the Competition, begrudgingly, because I didn't want to drive it in case it was that much better, I came to terms with the fact that it was in places for what I was going to use it for. And make no bones about it, if this was just a track car for me, I would have the original. Firmer setup, slightly better towing, flatter all round. The engine just lent itself to that bit more sort of playful mentality, the end denomination. There's a lot to be said for the S55, but to be honest with you, it's just a bit of a swan song for the car. They behave differently but similarly. Until the S55 is reined back a little, and the N55 you could tell was doing absolutely everything that it could in that previous model. Fantastic cars and both fantastic engines, and it's showing it now. I'm in efficient and comfort, just going up 60 mile an hour, no point in rushing, I've got other cars in front of me. It just eases up the speed. In the original M2 you get a switch between comfort, sport, sport plus. Here you get to mess with steering, engine response and gear shift ferocity if you've got the DCT box, and you can have any mix of the lot. My M1 is actually my day-to-day mode while I'm commuting, which is efficient, comfort, lowest ferocity, automatic box, because I'm cruising like this to work. There's no point in pushing on, and the car will just sort of take me from A to B very comfortably, and I'm more than happy to do that. But my M2 is set for those drives home where the roads are clear and it is safe to do so. So if I hit that button, I have to hit it twice because MDM is in there, but if I hit that button I end up in manual box, sport steering, sport plus engine with the MDM on. What that gives me is just that bit of play. You can sit in this car and forget what it's capable of by doing this. So the beauty, I think, of the M2 is that it will do this to an extent. It won't do it as well as a M3, M4, M5 will, but when you turn it up, that's when the car will make all the sense it ever needs to. The S55 engine grabbed the headlines when they announced the competition, but to be honest with you, it's the chassis setup that's night and day between this and the old car. The work they've done with the diff, the suspension, the rose jointing, just transformed it into a more compliant version of its predecessor. When you do get it out of shape, it feels far more controllable. The old car would throw you off the road if you let it, and when you were moving along at pace, it would feel like it could bounce you off the road if you hit the wrong bump. You can take that from an owner. I know, I've been there. You really had to hold on to that car. It took a real amount of driver skill and conviction to drive that car well. This car is just a little bit more compliant, a little bit more tolerant, and gives you that feedback that you need and fair warning about when you're on the edge and what that's going to look like for you. That's what makes it a better car for me personally, and I think what I'm probably doing there is admitting that I'm not a good enough driver for the original M2. Drop it down, pop your windows open, off you go. What's not to love? Let's talk about things that you need if you are going to run one of these cars on a daily basis, in my opinion. The car comes as stock, or mine did at least, with Michelin Pilot Super Sport tyres. Fantastic pieces of rubber, don't get me wrong. There aren't many things that will stick to the road better on a standard stock road going tyre. However, when it's wet or cold and you do want to go around a corner at any speed at all, the car will slide out of control before you know it. This car has a very clever diff and a very clever traction control system, but even that will not save you at times. Those tyres do not operate on anything other than perfect. And so my humble opinion, you should invest in either a good all-year tyre. At present, I'm running a set of winters, which might sound bizarre bearing in mind what you can see. I'm in the UK, and up to a week ago we were still waking up and I was still commuting in temperatures -3, -4 degrees, and that's where those winters were incredible. It meant I could go everywhere. For me, as I said, I use this as my absolute daily. It goes everywhere, all over the country, all over the year. It is used and abused, and for me, a good set of winter tyres is a absolute must. Winters work well, and I'm a big fan of them. Original wheels are getting ready, or are now ready, for Petrolhead Scotland, which is in April. They're running the PS4S's, brand new rubber, ready for Scotland. So by the time I've driven up there, day one, day two, they'll be wearing in nicely and hopefully ready for everything Scotland can throw at it. And I can't think of a better tyre. For me, I think the best tyre, if you're going to use it as a all-rounder and you only want to go with one set of rubber, are the PS4S's. And you would be well-minded to consider something like that if you are going to purchase a car like this, because it is trying to punch over 400 horsepower through the rear wheels. Those rear wheels, 9 times out of 10, I would imagine, as you're driving it, will have absolutely no weight over them. And depending on the conditions, a million and one other things, you might struggle to control it. This is just where the car just comes to life. If it does arrive on a set of summers, seriously come winter, you can either drive everywhere, and they will make it in most places except for snow, but you just won't go anywhere at any pace. And by any pace, I don't mean pushing on, I mean just at a normal speed. If you like what you see, please remember to like and subscribe. We are in the process of making Carman Dad a 100% non-for-profit charity. That means your likes and subscriptions can go a real way to making a real difference in people's lives. So if you like what you see, hit that like button, give me a subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Cheers.